Welcome back. As always, be sure to leave a comment if you have anything out of this video, if you have any comments about the channel in general, or you have any topic you want to make a future video on, let me know down in the comments. Also, be sure to come on the channel YC Games, it's one with the owner's logo. And before we get into it, I just want to slap a huge spoiler warning on this video. This video will be talking nothing but spoilers for the story of The Last of Us Part 2. So if you have not played it yet and are still somewhat interested, please, I beg you, anyone that's even like on the fence, like sorta maybe wanting to try it, I urge you to play it going in as spoiler free as you possibly can. I know that's really hard, especially nowadays, but yeah, if you have not played it yet, please go out and play it. And that being said, let's get right into the video. So if you see my last video, you know that I am a huge fan of this game. I love the story. I love pretty much everything about it. However, I can accept that there were some problems with it. And specifically trying to stay within this video, I want to talk mostly about the story elements. My biggest issue with the story was the order of events. And not necessarily like, well, this happened, this happened, this happened. I'm talking like the game had a lot of flashbacks in it and a lot of like, different callbacks and whatnot. And that's great. That's good storytelling if done right. And I think it was done right here a lot of the time. However, a few flashbacks really threw me for a loop because they were just put in odd places or really just not where it made sense later on. Like, a lot of the things we get like a real gut punch for. Like, that's kind of the point of a lot of these moments in this game is really punching the gut and say, oh my god, that gets you right in the feels. And I get that, that's great. That's one thing I love about this game is it really made me feel stuff. Not always good stuff, but it made me feel stuff, which games don't normally do that. So I definitely applaud this game for that, but I feel like it would have made me feel more. Like, it really would have gave that really big gut punch if I would have seen some of the flashbacks before some of the events of the game. Like, a lot of things we see, like, kind of make sense, but then it's explained later in a flashback, and that just feels odd to me. Like, if we would have had that context going in, like the big thing at the end of the game, I'm just kind of jumping around a little bit just to kind of make my real point. The one I remember the most is, you're fighting Abby, and again, if you have not played the game, please click the video. That's why I have the spoiler warning, because I don't want to spoil anything. But if you played the game, you're fighting Abby at the end, and then right before you kill her as Ellie, you have that flashback of Joel sitting on the porch. And at the time, I was like, okay, you think about Joel wouldn't want that makes sense. Whatever, kind of blow it off. I didn't think much of it. I thought it was kind of a weird moment, but alright, if that's Ellie's motivation for not killing Abby, that's fine. Whatever. And then we went to the full flashback of what happened during that one quick scene we saw. We see the full flashback of Ellie starting to forgive Joel, and it's a huge touching moment, and that cutscene is a great moment. That whole flashback is a great moment. But I feel like if we would have had that flashback before that final fight, that flash would have made a lot more sense at the time. Because a lot of the people that I see people complaining about is like, oh well, just because you saw a flash of Joel, that's it. That's what made her stop. And when I first saw the cutscene, I agreed with that. Like, oh, I mean, come on, really? That's what made you stop for all that? But after seeing that cutscene play out fully, now it makes sense. And it makes sense now going back, but at the time, I was kind of disappointed in that moment. And that was supposed to be a really big liberating moment. So going back through, my second playthrough, I haven't gotten that far yet. This is footage of my second playthrough. Clearly, I'm not that far. It's still an early game. But I'll get that moment again, but it'll definitely lose some of its impact because I didn't get that flashback beforehand. And this isn't the only example. There's a few other moments that kind of caught me off guard that I feel like should have been in a different order. Specifically, it almost felt like maybe we should have played Abby's story first. Now, I don't want that because, I think the whole switcheroo thing was genius, and I'll kind of get into that later in the video. But it just felt weird. Like, we were going around killing people, angry at Ellie, and then we go back and actually learn their story afterwards, and then we're supposed to feel bad about it. Like, I get it. We don't know anything. Like, Ellie doesn't know anything. She's not supposed to feel... I mean, she's supposed to feel bad about it, but not really bad about it. Like, But later on, as we see their stories develop more, we as a player connect a little more, and then we feel bad thinking about, oh shit, we killed these people. Like, it is a kind of a gut punch later, but I feel like it would have been a lot more emotional if we like saw their story first and then had to go in and kill him as Ellie. Now again, this is all stuff is my opinion. If you disagree, that's perfectly fine, because I don't really know if I fully even want that, because now that I'm saying it out loud, it does sound kind of insane to play it that way, but I feel like it would have had a much more emotional impact if we would have played it first. And again, like all my videos, these are fully open to discussion. I want to discuss it with you guys. So please, if you agree, disagree, let me know down in the comments with all these points, not just this one. But let's move on to the next point. Now, there seem to be a lot of people that are really disliking Joel's death scene. Even the people that love the game, they think the story's great, they think, you know, everything about the game's great. A lot of people are doubling back and saying, except Joel shouldn't have died, or he shouldn't have died in that way, or it was really brutal, whatever. And I disagree with those people. I think that they did Joel's death perfectly. Like, there's really nothing better they could have done with this character's at all. Like, his character, his death scene, I think it's great. Now, yes, it's brutal. It's a bit over the top. That I'll give you. that maybe they could have toned that down a little bit, but at the same time, I feel like they definitely accomplished what they were going for. Because you gotta remember, this is a story about revenge. Now, any writer at Naughty Dog can just, you know, type away saying, well, Ellie mad, she want to kill because they bad people. Whatever, that's fine. Well, that's not fine, it's a terrible fucking story, but they could have done that. But what they wanted to do, and what I feel like they accomplished, is damn near impossible. They got the player to hate the antagonist at first. Now we'll get into that part later in the video too, but they got the player to hate the antagonist, to want revenge, to really feel like Ellie's actions are justified. Now, we've seen countless revenge stories, like just countless. And some are good, some are bad, but a lot of them kind of boil down to hero loses something, hero wants to go get something, and we as the audience or the player, you know, if it's a movie, game, whatever it is, we just kind of go along for the ride. We play their story. Now, yes, this is definitely very much Ellie's story, but the way we had this emotional connection with these characters in the past, like with the first game and throughout this game, it feels a little bit more like our story as the player. Now, that may sound like, I don't know, wish fulfillment or some fan fiction shit, but no. Like, playing through this game, it really makes the player feel involved. And that's why Joel had to die in this way. Because if you played through the first game and you liked it, then more than likely you did not want Joel to die. I definitely didn't want to. I love the first game. I did not want Joel to die. In my perfect world, Joel is alive and well. We could have been playing as Ellie, that's fine, but have Joel as a companion, or Joel just kind of pop in once in a while. You know, be like kind of like Dina's in this game, just be that companion for, you know, some sections of the game. That is what I wanted. However, I am so much happy with what we got, because this was definitely a better way to go about it. I wanted to kill Abby for the entirety of this game while playing as Ellie, because I love Joel that much as a character. I did not want him to die. I felt that same hatred Ellie did, and that is exactly what they wanted to do. And that is why I don't get why so many people are ragging on Joel's death. It is exactly executed the way Naughty Dog wanted it to. It is perfectly emotionally tied to the player that it just drives us just as much as it drives Ellie, if you are emotionally invested in the game. Now, that's kind of the big iffy up there that they were taking a gamble doing. If the player wasn't interested, well, it falls on its ass, and yeah, the rest of the game kind of suffers because of it. But for those that played the first game, or at least try to get emotionally invested in the first part of this game, it was definitely worth the payoff.
And I think in this one, they go up against Russian spies or something.
I've also seen quite a few people not like Jesse's death either, which is understandable because, you know, it was quick, it was basically random, and that one was definitely a bit more undeserved. than Joel's. So I understand this a little bit more, but at the same time, it's kind of genius. Like, if you guys don't remember, Jesse was the one, Ellie and Dina's friend that just randomly got shot in the face when Abby showed up, and Ellie and Jesse burst through the door. Just got shot in the face, boom, dead. That was the end of them. Pretty much random. It was kind of insane when that happened because it just caught everyone off guard. And there was like so much going on in that scene that it just kind of like got brushed under the rug. A lot of people are upset about that aspect of it. Like, oh, Jesse was a pretty good character. Why is he like just that's it, just dead, and like nothing else? And I understand that, but at the same time, that's just this world. Like, people die all the time. And honestly, it kind of really made me think about all those random deaths that I caused. Like, I'm just sneaking in a bush, they have no idea what's going on. People are just walking around the normal patrol, like the wolves or whatever. And then boom, just one silenced headshot and they're dead. And that's it. That's the end of them. And that's what I really like about this game, like, as a whole, is it really, like, almost makes you not want to kill people, which I know killing people is bad, like, in real life, but it's a video game, screw it. But I actually felt bad a lot of times killing people in this game, because, like, the whole name thing they added, the screaming if you shot off a limb, and particularly that Jesse's death, that really got me, because I'm like, ooh, yeah, every random kill was someone's best friend, possibly someone's husband, wife, son, daughter, all that stuff. Like, I get it, it's just code and some pixels or whatever, but still, goddamn, good on Naughty Dog for making me care about random NPCs. And I know Jesse's not a random NPC, but the fact that they made his death so random made me feel for random NPCs. Yeah, you get it, let's move on. Alright, now I know I'm really just jumping around, kind of willy-nilly, but there's a method behind the madness, I trust you. But let's talk about the Rat King for a minute. I don't know how I feel about the Rat King. It was definitely a really good fight. It was really cool, it was really suspenseful. But it felt very video gamey to me, which is fine, because yes, it is a video game, but at the same time, that was the first time I really just felt out of it. Like, I'm going through, sneaking up, being stealthy, watching the cinematics, everything like feels like it could be realistic. But the Rat King just made it not. Like, that just felt straight out of like some Resident Evil game, which is fine for a Resident Evil game. But for Last of Us Part 2, I felt like that part was a bit much. But it does open up the discussion, because it was really cool. Like, the concept of, well, yeah, it's fungus, it'll grow together. We've seen, like, some of the stalkers and whatnot, like, they're fused into the wall, and they'll pop out at you when you get close. So, it's definitely possible that, a bloater and a stalker, I think, were the two main ones that they mentioned, were fused together to form the Rat King. But, I don't know. I felt like it would have been cooler to see that, like, with two stalkers or two clickers and make them just more random encounters than a boss fight. Like, that just felt, again, very video gamey. That's really the only way I can put it. It just felt like, alright, where's the boss battle music coming from, kind of thing. And that just really took me out of the moment. That was just one negative thing I kind of wanted to throw in there. I know it's kind of random, but it's something I had to get off my chest. So this is where the game can either go from good to terrible for some people, or to great for others. And that's when you had to switch to play as Abby. And I am very much on that fence of I don't know how I feel about this yet. I beat it when that first video came out, which was over a week ago at this point, and I'm still contemplating if I actually liked playing as Abby or not. When the game first, pulled the rug underneath from me and switched me to Abby, I was shocked. I didn't like it. I was actually upset. Not to the point of turning off the game and quitting or breaking the disc or, being all dramatic. No. I paid for the game. Goddamn, I'm going to play the game. But I was upset. I wanted to play as Ellie. That's as simple as that. I wanted to play as Ellie. Ellie was, the girl. But after playing through it, I didn't mind it anymore. I definitely understand why we played as her, but what I still don't understand, and this is kind of like another, I guess, bash on the game, I don't know why we played as her for so long. Like, don't get me wrong, I liked her story, I liked Lev, that was definitely a cool part. The whole, kind of learning the enemy again, because you're playing as the enemy, but while playing as the enemy, learning about the other enemy. It was definitely cool to see all sides of this conflict, and I definitely appreciate that, and I really feel like that was kind of the point of it, was to show that, hey, you know how we're all humans trying to survive? Yeah, look at this. We're all humans trying to survive, just with different ideals, different prospects, whatever. It's all, very real, because, you talk about, oh, this idiot thinks this thing, this idiot thinks that thing. Well, yeah, people think those ways because of different ideologies, different upbringings, whatever it may be. People think different things for different reasons. And it was definitely cool to play as Abby, who has, in that more militaristic, being a WLF member, and then, just hating the Seraphites, the Scars, but then ending up helping a couple and learning, okay, they are people, just, a little wacky religious, whatever, but they're still people. So I think that's the point of playing as Abby, to see all aspects of it. Plus, there's a lot of really cool parallels between Abby's story and not only the first game, but also with the second game. But I think there's a lot of cool, I don't want to call them callbacks, but a lot of cool moments that's made you think, oh, yeah, it was kind of like the first game. So, I'm glad we played as Abby. It's definitely good to see her side of this conflict. But I still feel like we played as her for too long. I think this should still be primarily Ellie's game. And I think it is, just not quite to the degree that I wanted it to be. I feel like we played as Abby for too long. That should have been, a section, 2 sections, maybe a couple hours with the gameplay. But, yeah, that's just me. So you play through most of Ellie's story, you play through most of Abby's story, and it all comes together in the theater scene. The big moment that originally we were playing as Ellie, that's when I switched to Abby, whatever. Then it turns into the fight. And I gotta say, that fight between Ellie and Abby is probably my most stressful part of this entire game. I loved that. It was like, the whole time, I was almost giddy. Not because I wanted to fight Ellie, because, like I said, I love Ellie as a character. I want to play as her for most of the game. But it was just such a cool thing. I like to look at games. I don't, not to break them, but I like to look and kind of see the mechanics behind it. And it was just really cool for me to see, Ellie use the kind of tactics that I used when I played as her. It was just a really neat thing to almost see what it's like to be any WF member fighting Ellie. It's terrifying. Having her hunt you down, having her sneak around, laying down traps. It was just such a cool thing to see it from the other side. And again, I don't want to break the game or really dissect it, but that was really cool for me. And then it went completely backwards, because I broke into reality again and realized that I had to fight the character that I love most of this franchise. I love Ellie as a character. I think she's great. I love the fact that we got to play as her this time around. And it made me so sad having to actually physically fight her. Oh my god, that was rough. But that's kind of the beauty of this game. It's tough beauty. So I actually avoided all spoilers going into the game. The only thing I saw is while I was playing it, I saw that we didn't end up killing Abby. And I was fine with that. I'm like, alright, Abby's a fine enough character. I'm sure we'll see her side. Something's going to happen that ends up we're not going to kill her. And then the fight scene in the theater happened, and, Abby saved our lives, or saved Ellie's life, so I was fine with that ending. I'm like, alright, this is fine. We go back to the farm, and it's the perfect, happy ending. They're on the farm. Ellie's got Dina. They got the baby. They got the animals. They're living off the land. That's the perfect country lifestyle in the apocalypse. Nothing could go wrong. Until Ellie went back. And I was very much pissed off by this. Only because I knew we didn't kill Abby. And that just kind of goes to show you what spoilers will do. Because at that moment, I mean, yeah, we're supposed to be upset. Like, no, Ellie, please, no. You have the perfect lifestyle. Don't go back. Don't do it. But knowing that we ended up not killing Abby after having essentially the perfect life, that's what really pissed me off. And that was because of a spoiler. And I know this is like kind of late in the video to really be going into this, but fuck spoilers. If you're the kind of guy, person, woman, whatever, that actively goes out and spoils games for people, then fuck you. It really is that simple. Like, you're not funny, you're not a good person, you're just ruining something for someone else, and that's messed up. I don't understand it. I don't know why you take joy in that, and that's just mean. Spoilers ruin games. They really do. And especially in The Last of Us Part 2, I'm pissed off it ruined this. For a lot of people. Like I said, I avoid most spoilers. I'm very grateful that I did, because if I was spoiled to this game, I would be pissed off the entire time. Like I just said, that minor spoiler ruined a moment for me. Like, that her leaving, I was supposed to be, angry at Ellie, but I'm like, alright, understandable. You have PTSD, that's fine, whatever. But I was completely taken out of that moment because I knew we ended up not killing Abby. And that's just, again, why spoilers are never good. Now, this again raises up quite a bit of discussion. Should Ellie have killed Abby? That's actually a tough one. Obviously, that was the whole point of her journey. She went out there to kill Abby and all her friends for what they did to Joel. She has PTSD and she feels like that's the way to get rid of it. I don't have PTSD, so I have no idea, what is going on there. I hope this is a good representation of it. I don't know. But it just seems weird to me that so many people wanted Abby to die after playing through her story through half the game. And then if you played through her story and you were really paying attention and you were open-minded and wanted to listen, then I still don't see why you would want her to die. Like, no, she's not a good person, but neither is Ellie, and definitely neither was Joel. No one in this world is a good person. Does that mean everyone should die? Maybe, apparently. And that's just what I really don't understand, why so many people want Abby to die. Like, I just genuinely want the reason why. Is it just because, Ellie says she bad, so she bad? Well, I guess then, but I liked Abby as a character. Did I like her as much as Ellie? No, I definitely want Ellie to win out in the end, because we had a whole game with her beforehand. Obviously, we're going to be a little bit more attached to Ellie than Abby. But a lot of people are saying, like, the We Hate Abby game, making compilations of, how many people, or how many times she died in the game. It's great, because, she's so bad, we hate her so much, I just want to kill her over and over again, and record it, and hurt at her. Why? She was a fine character. I don't know. That's just my take on it. Now, one of the things that I really think makes this game great is that quite a bit of it's up to each player's interpretation, and that's definitely applies to the ending. The ending is very much up to each player's interpretation of what they think happened. And it's kept vague for that reason, because it can be very bleak or very happy, depending on how you want to see this world going in your own mind. And that's very much how the first game went as well, but this game a lot more so. This ending is definitely a lot more vague intentionally. And when I first played through, my interpretation was kind of what was blatantly there, or what we're meant to think was blatantly there, of Ellie, comes back from when she's supposed to kill Abby, tired, weak, limping, whatever, comes to the house, and Dina's gone. All the stuff's packed up, everything's gone. She goes up to the rest of, where her stuff was packed up, goes through a few belongings, flips through some things, tries to play guitar because that's just kind of what she did whenever she was sad or thinking about Joel, whatever. She can't because her fingers were chewed off, sets down the guitar, and walks away. And, that's pretty sad ending. She lost everything. That's very much the ending that a lot of people are making fun of this game for, of, oh, revenge is bad. And that was my initial thought of the ending. And I still think that's definitely a possibility. That definitely is what Naughty Dog intended for the ending. But that's really not a bad ending. I mean, it's grim. It's gruesome. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely not the good ending. But it's realistic. She had everything, essentially. She had Dina. She had the kid. She had the farmhouse. And she was willing to give it all away on some revenge plot. And that's, a good lesson of don't do that because you'll lose everything. However, then I, kind of looked around, saw some other people's opinions, and I think I got a much happier ending now. A lot of people are saying that, well, first of all, that she was afterwards either going back to Jackson to, basically beg Dina for forgiveness and hope to get her back, which is definitely a possibility, and that's kind of what I thought too. I guess nothing wrong with that. But the more hopeful ending, and this is kind of what I want the ending to be now that it was brought to my attention, is that she went to Jackson first and talked to Dina, already, went over everything, and they're cool now. You can tell because she was wearing the bracelet in the ending cutscene. So that's definitely happier. They're all cool with Dina, and that her going back to the farmhouse was her saying goodbye to Joel. Because a lot of stuff in that room was from Joel's house, not necessarily Ellie's shack, I guess. So that was very much her saying goodbye to Joel, not, I guess, being sad about her own stuff, or being sad about Dina moving out. Which is definitely a much happier ending of her finally, going through acceptance, the final stage of grief of losing Joel. Acceptance that, okay, he's dead, time to move on with Dina. And that's, I really hope, the intended ending, and that's kind of the canonical ending, because that's definitely a lot more hopeful. But again, this is the world of The Last of Us. Not everything's hopeful and everything's cheery, happy-go-lucky. And that's fine. That's good, I guess. That's realistic. That about is over this one, guys. I've been talking for way too long. But yeah, there's definitely a lot more to discuss about this game. I really enjoyed it. I'm enjoying my second playthrough of it. Definitely can't wait to get some more insight after playing through it for a second time. But yeah. What I really want is just see what you guys want. What did you guys think of the game? If you did dislike it, let me know why. I do want to see why people dislike this game so much. I'm genuinely curious to have an open discussion, just with open-minded people. So yeah, go down in the comments. Please give me your opinion. Also, if there's anything else about this game you want me to talk about, let me know down in the comments. That is really why I make these videos, just to have kind of discussions, get my thoughts out there. Just whatever. So, if there's any other game, any other topic, whatever, let me know down in the comments what you want me to talk about. But yeah, that's really all I gotta say. So, thank y'all for watching, if anyone is even watching at this point. But remember, the world doesn't know anything but keep your stick on the ice. We're all together. See you in the next one. Bye.